again, my lovelies, wonderfuls, amazings, and beautifuls. Yeah, you know your name. Thank you for joining me on I Am Maggie. I have so much fun um, doing this, having this time with you and interacting with you and creating this container. From whatever moment that you watch this video, like as we know, we are all connected, we are all one. We're in different levels of the quantum field, and it's just a pleasure at whenever you kind of tap in, because I know a lot of you are already tapped in, but I just thank you for spending this time with me. And when you do get a chance, please hit like and subscribe and leave your positive comments. I really appreciate it. So we are doing The Magic of Everyday Life with Maria Szepes. Fantastic book. We are almost done. And we are in chapter 23, Conquering Fear. Anybody here? You have conquered fear. I see it. I'm imagining you in your best life. Keep pushing through. All right, we're going to pick up where we left off. You ready? If we were to look over the individual pitiful history of our fears, we could conclude two things. One is that we have been afraid of innumerable things in vain, totally unnecessary. We expend so much energy on fear, which we could better have applied to learning languages, developing a career, or creating works of art. The second is that even if 1/10 of our nightmares would have come true, we would have already died 1,000 deaths with all our relations in the midst of the most select tortures. Okay, once again, so I just want to state this because as we were working through the last video, so I want to just say again, I'm always trying to be sensitive to this, where we are in the spectrum. Some people have way much more support, financials, backing, and all these things, and other people don't. We are all in the spectrum of things. So I'm wanting to say again, if the kinds of fears you are overcoming are, abuse, severe abuse, trauma, medical conditions, this is no way to diminish. But I do want to encourage you that no matter what kind of fear you're facing, you have conquered it. And that through facing it and doing these things, you're going to have an even better chance at putting it under your feet in submission, in Jesus' name, where it should be. So I'm just saying, some of the things she has just said is that you could learn languages. So if you are trying to overcome, you are overcoming fear, you don't know what to do, learn a language, or develop a new career, or create works of art. Those are just 3 things you could start with. Or make a list of things that you could do, but just you gotta get transmuting the energy. You can't stay. Anything you focus on expands. So if it's fear, it's going to expand. But if it's if you say, okay, I'm no fear, not today, and I'm going to slowly move up the spectrum away and cancel you out, you will do it. Okay. The second is that even if 1/10 of our nightmares would have come true, we'd have already died 1,000 deaths with our relations in the most select tortures. Both facts prove that we splurge a large portion of our power on entirely unfruitful, negative, and destructive matters. So this is another thing too. If you're coming out of like toxic things, trauma, abuse, severe abuse, there's a field that gets activated that sort of begins to like actually, whatever you focus on, we talked about, expands, or whatever you see, your brain is actually going to like have it manifest forward in the universe. That's another reason why we must break the cycles of fear, because if our goal is to truly heal and transcend that life track, you can't be like, this is what's hard. I know sometimes that you are in these harsh situations and your back's against the wall and you're thinking, Maggie, how can I do this? And I'm going to tell you, in your life, if you've ever looked at certain situations, you did it against all odds. Now I'm going to take this real simple. Let's say, for instance, you wanted a candy bar and you were told by your parent that you couldn't have that candy bar. But in your mind, you were like, I'm going to get that candy bar. Now, some of you guys, this can relate to your weekend habits or dating habits. You know, you meet somebody and that person says no, and then you're like, even more, I gotta have that person, you know, I gotta be with that person. And that no actually propels you towards yes. Every single one of us, no matter how hard our life has been, has had that moment where we have raised up within ourselves and overcome the obstacle. If you are in a bad situation right now, toxic, fear, abuse, severe abuse, trauma, whatever, you need to summon yourself and you need to rise up. And no matter what the world is showing you, you have to choose another way of being in the world, no matter how bad it is. And when you do that, things will slowly start to trickle in the direction of peace, in the direction of joy. But you have to make the choice. And I know it sucks, and I know it's hard, but I also have done it myself, and I know you can do it too. And I know there's tons of inspirational stories around us that help you see that it's possible. You know, no matter how long the imprisonment is. The Mandela effect, when he was, when he was in prison, never thought he could get out. And then he became the president. I mean, we have to be inspired and we have to summon ourselves out of the fear, like the phoenix, like Jesus, like you, into the new possibility. You just have to do it. If you sit there arguing for the limitations on why fear is important to be the stronghold, that is where you'll stay. But you're not going to stay there because you're here with me in this video, in this energy, in this community, and there's too many of us rooting for you. And deep inside, if you're here, you're rooting for you too. So you got to get up. You got to go. You got to move in the next direction, because you are not meant to be living in fear. No one is meant to live in fear. We are meant to rise to our highest purpose and potentials and live that out in a regulated nervous system, in a regulated mind, a regulated heart. Like when I say that, I'm talking about being balanced, because we need you. We need the gift that is you. There is nobody in the world and in the universe that can be you. I'm telling you, you matter. So please take this to heart, and wherever you are, I want you to summon yourself up and out. Make the decision today that fear was going beneath your feet, and it's over. It's done. It's broken, and then it's going to dissolve. It has to leave. Okay, let's go. Because we can never improve our fate with fear, at best we can make it seriously worse. Oh wait, sorry. Both facts prove that we splurge in large portions to our power on entirely unfruitful, negative, and destructive matters. Because we can never improve our fate with fear, at best we can make it seriously worse. We never divert anything bad with fear. Moreover, we heighten its danger. Fear never rescues us from anything. It merely casts us into great misfortune. Fear does not heal, but it makes us sick. Fear, beyond the so-called reflex of fright, takes control over us for the most part because of unpreparedness as a sudden blow, because akin to the sources of danger in most areas of life, we have not built in a system of defense in this channel either. That's the other thing, is as you begin to build this resilience, you build these tools in you. In the future, when fear tries to hit, you have this fortress that you are going to utilize, like Richard Grannon's emotional fortress. You have these set of skills. You have Maria Szepes, Kung Fu with you. You're not alone. Jesus, and it's over. I'm over there praying for you too. So this sense of defense is comprised of taking into account the laws of unavoidable forms of existence in all aspects in every moment of life. So we know we're not delusional. We know life is hard. We know we're going to run into challenges, but we are going to be prepared, and we're going to continue to strengthen ourselves. So when it happens, we hold strong, like the nurses. We prepare our exact budget the fundamental sum of which is the following thesis. In the fact that we were born, the certainty of death lies hidden. Next, we have to decide, what is life? What is the purpose of life? What is death? And what is the purpose of death? And I just want to challenge you, what is the purpose of your life before this whole death thing? I want you guys to figure that out and give the gift at you. Okay, going back. If we follow this line of thinking to the end, place it before ourselves, not much remains that we can fear. I have that saying, guys, I know you remember me saying this in another video, but die before you're dead so you can live. That's like, face your fears. And it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying you're worth it. And everything that you do, every tool that you gain, it's going to pay back eternal fold. Not just for you, but the generations to come and the ancestors in the past. So, okay. If we follow this line of thinking to the end, place it before ourselves, not much remains that we can fear, because the fulcrum of our interests and strivings shifts to the only essential question: what is the purpose of life? What is the cosmic purpose of life? And within this cosmic purpose, what is our own individual purpose in the present chapter of our development? Fear, of course, okay, there she is, yeah. Fear, of course, even after our having pinpointed our purpose, retains many secret weapons. Frightening misery, sorrow, horror complexes brew within, without definition, beyond the threshold of our consciousness. Nevertheless, it is certain that we can avoid a large portion of troubles if we voluntarily take action on these matters that the heavy blows of fate are called upon to deal us, in the interest of our growing recognition and moral healing. So, you know, that spiritual CrossFit, you keep developing those tools and you're going to be strengthened as you go through life. Where at one point fear just ruled you, you're going to be able to rule fear. It's not even have a place in your life. And the more that we trust God and the process that the Creator has given us, the universe, the more we start to see that everything is working out for us, and that God is taking care of us. The world is taking care of us, and it's going to move. We have to relax into it. The other source of dissolving our transmuting fear is in ourselves, is through the concentrative and meditative articulation of our anxieties, antiopathies, idiosyncrasies, and neuroses. These abominable obstructions are generally protective and warning devices within us. So here is a place where, like, some people in psychology say, like, even when behaviors are not healthy, they're actually you trying to help and protect yourself in these things. But we know some behaviors are just not healthy, but it's still the body trying to help itself. So she's saying anxieties, antipathies, idiosyncrasies, and neuroses. We want to evaluate these things because ultimately they are generally trying to protect and warn us. So we don't want to override our body, our sensories, and just be like, oh, whatever, because that's like being naive. Those emotions and things are there to kind of warn you. And if you get dysregulated, that's when then you're just full-blown living in anxiety, full-blown living in fear. And that's why Richard Grannon's Emotional Fortress videos, please hit them up. And Brian Scott to help uplift and encourage, and Renee Garcia, Reality Transurfing, to get tools on how to actually navigate the quantum, and et cetera. But, all right, prohibition posters and road signs signifying dangerous areas. That's our anxieties and things, right? They're important. We need to figure out what they're trying to tell us so they don't get dysregulated and take over. They alarm us from taking a direction where we have not fared well many times before. So they're warning systems, right? All right. Well, what do you know? We just closed out chapter 13, and you all have overcome fear. All right. I want to thank you so much for joining me. And I'm hoping that you are seeing that you are the magic of everyday life. And the magic of everyday life is within you and all around you. And I'm just, really, my wish is that you are being helped through these readings, maybe picking up tools, maybe remembering something like a tool that you put down and you're like, I forgot about that. Or maybe it's inspiring as your journey is to help others. It's like a beautiful universal salad. So we're all here to help one another. But I do thank you for joining me. And when you do get a chance, please hit up subscribe and like. Leave your positive comments. I so look forward to them. And you know what's next? Peace in, peace out.